We'll do the opening again. Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. We're going to be covering WWE Summerslam 2025. Last night was the big edition of Monday Night Raw. We went into Monday Night Raw. Basically, we might have known 2 or 3 matches for WWE Summerslam. I can honestly tell you that I just have this weird feeling about this year's SummerSlam because of the fact that it's going to be a 2-night event. It's going to be coming to you from Newark, New Jersey, where the Giants and Jets play. We've had WrestleManias there in the past. It's going to be a big night. It's going to be a big moment. There's going to be a lot of people that travel in for the event. It's going to be one hell of a weekend with I'm sure they're going to have the big superstore. I'm sure they're going to have the superstar signings. I would hope they would do something like the WWE World to give the people like a moment to be going into it. But going into last night, we knew about the Jelly Roll, Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre versus Logan Paul match that was set up during Saturday night's main event. We'll get to talking about that match a little bit down the road, but really surprised how fast people jumped on that match, saying that it was trash, that it didn't really deserve to be on SummerSlam. A lot of people were saying like how, AEW had like one hell of a show with All In, and, they've sort of gone away from trying to bring in outside sources to watch their show to boost their numbers. They're just going to go strictly wrestling, and that's what it seems to work. And right away, WWE goes to a celebrity and tries to use that to spice it up, and that's possibly one of the moments that's going to be there. I think this is going to be a damn good match. I'm excited to see Jelly Roll. I can tell you that I think he's an awesome artist. I don't listen to him a ton. He's got country influences in his music that I think if I listen to him more, I honestly think that I would really like him. But it's not like this dude's going to be going out there working the entire match. We've seen, celebrity matches in the past. And as long as it's like Steve Amell at SummerSlam, I want to say that was like 2015, maybe it was 2016, with him and wasn't it him and Wade Barrett against Cody Rhodes? No, it was Cody Rhodes and Wade Barrett against Steve Amell and Neville Pac from AEW, and that really blew our mind. How far he was going to go. He really loved professional wrestling. On the other side, I can think of WrestleMania 27 in Atlanta with Snooki. That match is nowhere near good. But when they played the Jersey Shore music and she came down to the ring, people booed the hell out of Snooki. Nobody wanted to see her at WrestleMania. She did the one like cartwheel gymnastic spot into the corner, which set up the finish. And I think people saw that she took it serious and she tried and she didn't mess anything up. And, that night, everybody cheered Snooki out of the ring. You honestly really forgot the moment when she came out and she just got booed. I mean, I think that they're going to make sure that Jelly Roll gets into his spots where he is a big deal and people are going to like it. We also had Cody versus Cena for the World Heavyweight Championship match. We all know that that's going to be a big match. That's going to be main event night 2, and that's what people are going to be wanting to show up for. That's going to be a big deal. After Monday Night Raw, we basically got added Punk versus Gunther. We got Tiffany versus Naomi. Now we have Becky versus Lyra, Rhea versus Io versus Naomi. That's for the women's championship, with Naomi being the new champion after cashing in at Evolution. Just like she said on Raw, I thought she was going after the other belt, and she just came in and just basically said, "I'm gonna take this." Those are the matches that are locked in. They've already got match graphics. They've already put them out, and they've said that's going down. Now, after watching Raw, you would think that Dom versus AJ for the Intercontinental Championship. That's going to be locked in. We have Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu, United States Championship match. That should be no problem. And then the matches you got to kind of wonder about with 2 nights of SummerSlam and possibly them having more matches than the 4 to 5 match kind of deal. As of right now, I have 11 to 12 matches for both nights. Maybe that's averaging 6 matches a night. You would think Julia, the United States champion, she's got to have a match. I mean, they added these tag titles to the scene at when did they add these? They added these a few months ago. I mean, before WrestleMania, and then WrestleMania came and they had the Intercontinental Women's Champion in a tag match for the tag team titles. So that kind of shows you that the tag titles are higher on like the rankings than these singles belts. What is the point of having these belts if we're going to have 2-night events and we don't get to see the champion go down there? So Julia has to have somebody, maybe a Chelsea Green in there, possibly, I guess you can think of. And then with the Monday Night Raw tag titles, I think it's going to end up being the New Day versus the Raiders, and then Judgment Day will come in with the tag titles. On Monday Night Raw, when the New Day was in the back, they were asking for their rematch, and he said Adam Pearce said there are no rematches anymore. You have to work for them. You have to go out there and earn them. So possibly, I think it's just going to be a 3-way. We might get a match on Monday of the New Day versus the Raiders, but why not just have all 3 teams in there? I don't have the SmackDown tag titles that are going to be on there, but the Wyatt Six just won them. They've got DIY. They've got the Motor City Machine Guns. Maybe they're just possibly going to have another 4 corners like Bonanza match of everybody going on everybody. And we just do something like that. And the tag titles for the women's, I'm going to put Judgment Day going up against Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. A lot of people gave thanks to Charlotte's article. The Athletes Tribune that came out that said that how much hate she gets out there and on social media, just people just sending her messages about how much they hate her. I've always been a Charlotte fan. I understand the difference between, is it Ashley Flair and Charlotte Flair? I've never been at a point when I thought that, I hated her or anything like that. But it seems like they struck a chord where they turned her into a babyface. At Evolution, I think that Charlotte Flair got one of the loudest emotions of people pouring out their feelings to her. And I know that when the build-up to WrestleMania 41 was around, it seemed like Charlotte was trying to be the babyface, and then just at one point she was like, this ain't working, and she just decided that she was going to just straight go heel on everybody. And I don't really know what they're doing with the Alexa Bliss thing of them saying they're not friends, they're just working together. I think they got to run that back together. And the pouring out of emotion that Charlotte got, I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte and Alexa Bliss walk out with the tag titles there. And then the big one that could be split up, this could be 2 matches, it could be 1 match. I'm not quite sure how to help you with that. Calm down, Alexa. I ain't talking to you. Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I think it's honestly going to be a tag match. I know that you could break them up to fill out the 2 nights. If you go Roman Reigns versus Braun Breaker, that could be the big moment to where Braun Breaker was running through fools when he was doing the gauntlet match on Monday Night Raw. Maybe they were building him up because they knew that Braun has been looked at as he's a star. He's been a former Intercontinental Champion twice. He's beat Jey Uso, but there's a difference between wrestling Jey Uso and wrestling against Roman Reigns. And I think they just needed to make him look like it's going to be a big deal. John Pollock of Post Wrestling, they're based out of Toronto. They've been around forever. The Review Away podcast, where they talk about Monday Night Raw. They also review basically anything in the world of professional wrestling. They've done books, they've done movies, they've definitely done shows, pay-per-views. Ever since they went out on their own with Post Wrestling, I think they've honestly stayed the same, but gotten bigger. And John Pollock on there. I used to love a podcast where Pollock would do one with the guy from MLW. I know he has another guy that he does. I think he comes out on Thursdays. I can't remember the other guy's name, but they kind of do the same thing where they just go over the world of wrestling news, kind of like headline by headline, and like break everything down the best they can. Pollock came out and he basically was saying that Rollins is not hurt. This is a storyline. He knew about the finish with LA Knight 2 days beforehand. And Pollock is a guy out there who's not trying to get himself over. I don't believe that he's lying to us. It makes no sense to make up a lie about that. I don't know, but I think they're trying to set up something for Seth Rollins that's going to be big, elaborate, for a big Money in the Bank cash-in moment, a good way or a bad way, and him sort of resurrecting himself when we all think that he's going to be on the shelf for, 6 months to a year because of his knee injury that has been around since WrestleMania 40. And then all of a sudden the dude just shows up at SummerSlam and is just ta-da. I mean, the Money in the Bank briefcase, they made no mention of, finding a new home for it. They didn't want to, pass it over. Like LA Knight beat Seth Rollins, so now he's the Money in the Bank holder. They had Heyman saying that he had a year to cash in from the day he won it. And, until that year is up, there is no headline to say that, he can't use this. So they're rolling with it, whatever it is, instead of trying to cover it up and make it disappear. It could go either way. I think Jey Uso versus Bronson Reed. It's not the biggest match of all time, but you could have Jey Uso hit the tsunami train of just getting hit, boom, 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 and or you could just have Jey Uso rise from the ashes, beat Bronson Reed, and then you got to hope that Gunther retains the championship, and then all of a sudden, Jey Uso could find himself getting a rematch going after that world heavyweight title. So it's a good card. It honestly is a really, really good card. They could do a little bit of fixing, not having so many three-ways with the tag titles. Julia possibly could not have a match. They could just leave her off or whatever it is, but that's pretty darn close to what it's going to be. It's just going to be like how they want to move things around.